friends, we're on day 23 of our 31 Days of Horror Movie Villains, and today we're going to talk about The Grabber. The Grabber is portrayed by Ethan Hawke in both The Black Phone and The Black Phone 2. The story of The Black Phone was actually based on a short story written by Joe Hill, who's the son of Stephen King. I really love his mask because he can take the mouth out and exchange it for a frown, a smile, depending on his mood. The Grabber is a serial killer that primarily focuses on young boys. Many boys have gone missing, and we're following our main character Finney and his young sister Gwen. Unfortunately for Finney, he gets taken by the Grabber as well. The Grabber is able to trick people into his van by carrying around all these big black balloons, and when they get close enough, he kind of tangles them within the balloons and shoves them in his van, and he takes his victims to his basement. So poor Finney is taken to his basement, and the Grabber at first is like, I'm not gonna hurt you, don't worry about it. But he learns very quickly that the Grabber really likes playing games with people. Thankfully for Finney, there's a black phone that's resting on the wall that's not attached to anything, but all of a sudden he starts getting phone calls. And the phone calls are from deceased boys that have lived through the experience of the Grabber, and they're trying to give Finney tips on how to survive the experience. Through talking to these kids on the phone, Finney learns that the Grabber loves to play mind games with his victims. For instance, one day he leaves the door open, and a boy calls Finney and warns him, don't go up there because he's waiting up there for you. And at the end of the film, Finney is able to defeat the Grabber with the help of the deceased boys' voices. We don't know that much about the Grabber in the first film. We just know that he had a brother that he was trying to hide some things from. We also know that the Grabber has a big scary dog that Finney was also able to trick to get away from. But at the end of the first film, the Grabber is no longer with us. The Black Phone 2 takes place 4 years in the future, and we see Finney and his younger sister Gwen. They're kind of struggling from the trauma that they went through, but Gwen is really in tune with the spiritual things, and she's frequently visited by different spirits in her dreams, and she starts getting visions of these deceased boys unalived at this camp called Alpine Lake. She also gets a phone call from a younger version of her mother. Lets Finney know, we gotta go to this camp, we gotta investigate because something's going on, and she's being called there. It's super cold, it's winter, there's barely anyone at the camp, just a small group of counselors. We see the Grabber call Finney on a payphone outside, and we learn that the Grabber is now this supernatural being, and he kind of lets Finney know, hey, hell isn't hot, hell is cold. We learned that he has all these supernatural powers because the 3 boys that were deceased at the camp, and so by him, until the boys are at peace, the Grabber is still at large, and he's starting to torment Gwen to get back at Finney. And so we see Gwen and the Grabber have all these altercations in her dreams. He's kind of like a Freddy Krueger character now. If he hurts Gwen in the dream, he's hurting her in real life. So we learned that the Grabber attended this camp way back when with Gwen's mother. We also learned that he was responsible for Gwen's mother's death. So there's this extra layer for Gwen. Learn where the boys' bodies have been buried, and they're able to free them. There's this big confrontation at the end of the film on the ice. Boys are able to drag him underneath the ice, and he basically perishes in the ice. And he's the supernatural entity. I feel like he could come back at any time. I find this character so interesting. I think Ethan Hawke plays the Grabber so well. I just really love the mask design, especially in the first film. He does such a good job portraying this character. I really enjoy the Black Phone series, and the Grabber is a terrifying villain.